Welcome everybody to Fractured Space. My name is Maxwell and I wanted to bring you a very early pre-alpha look at this new game by Edge Case Games based in Guildford in the United Kingdom. They are the guys who brought you Strike Suit Zero, a space-based dog-fighting Twitch-based flight game that you may be familiar with. So you may notice there are some errors and there are some things lacking textures, and the lighting in this game isn't fantastic, and indeed the lighting does indeed need to be rebuilt. And like I said, that's just because this game isn't even in alpha yet. For those of you interested, the alpha will be released on Steam Early Access, and it will be available on the 20th of November. I just wanted to bring you this very early look so that you can make an informed decision whether this looks like the kind of game for you. So a very quick overview of the game itself, and I thought I'd bring you some gameplay footage so you can see how it looks and how it handles. This is an arena-based, team-based shooter. It's like a MOBA in space. A bit like World of Tanks, but with considerably smaller teams. It is currently a 5v5 team-based game. The object of the game is to capture the enemy's home base, and you can capture other bases along the way which garnish you with resources and special abilities. Like, some of them will heal your ship, and other ones will give you access to other sectors. What are the sectors, you may ask yourself? Well, the game field is split into 5 distinct areas. You may notice in the bottom right hand corner there, both teams A and E both have a starting base, and then the game is split into 3 other sections. They are the left hand flank, the right hand flank, and the center. You can get between them by using your capital ship's jump drive, which you'll see is set to number 4 there, and you can jump between the different sections. It does have a decent cooldown, but it is effective at getting between different sectors and also running away if you get into a spot of bother. Now, this is a capital ship-based fighting game, so the ships you're going to be using are absolutely massive, and rather than being a Twitch-based dogfighting style fighter game, because the ships are so large, it gives you a lot more time to plan, strategize, and then fight the battle that you want to fight, rather than just going in there and it all being over in a matter of seconds. You'll notice me and another ship trying to go at this guy here and take one of his little bases over. Now, currently there are 6 unique ship types in this game. I'll run through them. They are the flagship, the hunter, the assassin, the disabler, the sniper, and the frigate. I'm using the hunter at the moment, and this ship excels in close range combat. As you can see, now that I'm in close, I'm doing considerable damage to this enemy ship. He is currently flying the frigate, and the frigate is a good all-rounder. It has good medium to long range firefighting capabilities, decent maneuverability, and decent hit points, but up close and personal like this, it's no match whatsoever for a hunter, and we are going to take this guy out. Now, the game is split into 3 main manufacturers as well, so you get 3 distinct styles of ships as well as 6 distinct classes of ships. And you see this guy's coming back in for some more fighting. Now, each of the different ships have different abilities. Like this one, you'll notice that I used a little blink drive there, and that basically teleports me forward a fair distance, and that you can basically use to close the distance between yourself and the enemy, or if you're getting pummeled a little bit, you can use it to open up distance and give yourself some breathing room. And then different ships perform in different ways. For instance, the flagship is a lot more of a defensive vessel. It has a huge hit point pool, and most of its abilities revolve around defensive capabilities, like firing off drones and using missiles and using flak cannons to shoot down missiles. In fact, I think a flagship turns up in a second tier and absolutely ruins our day. Well, that may be a little bit later on. Now, at the moment, it's a lobby-based game. I don't know if that's going to be staying like that on the final release, but at the moment, like I said, it is a lobby-based game. You can see my ship's taking a considerable amount of damage to the front there, so if I take too much more damage to the front, I am going to be suffering because there is persistence of armor in this game, so if you take a considerable amount of damage to one side of your ship, the opponent is going to find it much easier to damage you on that same side again. So you can see I'll just jump away and try and get my front of my ship away from this guy, and he decides to turn towards my ally instead. But yes, there isn't really a matchmaker in the game. At the moment, it's split into different lobbies. You join a lobby, and then when the lobby is full, it launches you into a game. There you can see a flagship jumps into the area. You can see I start laying down some close-range fire, but this thing is so well armoured that he's just taking it on the chin. You can see the amount of hit points he has in the bar in front of him, and this is really going to be a futile task trying to take this guy out. The other point is obviously they own the base here, and if you own a base and sit within its circle of influence, it will heal your ship. So really we're fighting a losing battle here. The best thing we could have done is focus fire on this guy to try and take him out, or just ran the hell away. Frame rate takes a hell of a battering here, and that's just because I'm using drones, and the capital ship is using drones at the moment, so there's a hell of a lot going on the screen. You can see that little exclamation mark with the word right appearing above the enemy. That means I've damaged his right hand side armor, and I'll do more damage if I'm able to get shots in there. Unfortunately for me, he's able to open up some distance, and this is pretty much going to be all she wrote for me and my ally there, as we're not quite able to take this guy out, and we get absolutely ruined. But not to fear, when you die in this game, you do just respawn at your base, and you are able to continue fighting. Now, the leveling up experience, from what I've seen, you do get experience, which you can use on your ship. You can use credits on your ship to unlock different systems, but to be honest, a lot of them look like side grades rather than complete upgrades. Like you can have cannons or particle weapons. The engines are obviously straight up upgrades, but other things are more quality of life, whether you want to have proximity mines or missiles, or whether you want to have this type of subsystem, like I have a detection there, which will detect hidden or cloaked vessels, or you can take a different kind of system if you so wish. So a lot of them seem like side grades. The only real persistence in this game is your crew. So although your ship, if you've been playing for a long time, or if you come up against opponents that have been playing for a long time, they may have a lot of different side grids on their ships, but the only real advantage they're going to have is a fully upgraded crew, and that's going to confer them some small advantage. As you can see, I'm just using my blink drive to get into B1, Beta 1, as quickly as possible to try and take this off the enemy. I actually overshoot it a little bit, so I have to drop back and try and take this one, because to get to the enemy's base, you need to hold one of the bases to the right or left hand side of them, and that will allow you to jump to the enemy base. So when it comes to fighting against more advanced opponents, people who've been playing for a longer time, the game does seem very fair and balanced in that way. They don't get an undue advantage apart from the crew, which they'll be able to level up as they go. Although it does seem like your ship does upgrade during the battle. As you can see on the far left hand side, it says my upgrade 1, and my health has gone from about 10,000 to 15,000 now. I think by the end of this game I was at about 22,000 hit points, and I was at level 3. So it looks like your ships do level up as the game progresses. Just say that I was having a look at my jump drive there. As you can see, the Gamma is being captured in the center. So I'm going to jump into the center and try and interrupt that. And hopefully my ally, who's still on the right-hand flank, is going to see what I'm doing and get in there. So I find him. I fire off a few shots, but like I said, this ship is predominantly a close-range brawler. It's no good at range, so I'm really being ineffectual at the moment, so I'm going to have to get in there as quickly as possible. He's almost got the base, so I decided to use the jump drive to get in there as quickly as I can. It looks like my ally is going for the smaller bases rather than coming in and helping. I take a little bit of fire, but I figure I can probably try and close this distance down. And my plan is, there we go, just use the base itself as cover while my ally comes in to offer me some help. I'm going to try and lose track. I'm going to try and get the opponent to lose track of me around this building, around this space station, while my ally, who has what looks like to me more hit points, engages him, but he comes around the corner here intent on trying to track me down, but he's taking fire from the front and the back now. And really, this is the meat of the game. It's massive capital ships slugging it out with each other and having... It's a bit disorientating as well, using that blink drive. It's sometimes difficult to figure out whereabouts you've actually come out. And it's a little bit difficult to use the minimap to try and find where your opponent is. I find him over there on the right-hand side. I'm going to flank around, and we're just going to work this guy down and take him out. So if this is something that you guys would be interested in, like I said, it does release on Steam Early Access on the 20th of November. It's going to be free to play when it releases finally. I don't know if the Early Access is also going to be free to play or whether you're going to have to pay to get in there. I know Founders Packs are going to be available for those who want to support the game. And if this is something that you'd like the look of, then I would definitely recommend getting a Founders Pack to support these guys. To me, this game plays a lot like the old Starfleet Command. If you were ever a fan of that game, then you're probably going to enjoy this, and it'll be worth taking a look. If the early access is free, you've got nothing to lose. You might as well jump in there and have a go. If it does cost something, then I would recommend only really going in after you've done some due diligence research, or after you've watched a few videos of other people playing. You see the enemy's flagship jumps in now, and he's got a ridiculous amount of hit points. You just want to stay out of the way. The good thing is, though, he hasn't got any backup, and these flagships aren't able to do very much damage on their own, although they are able to soak up a hell of a lot of damage. So the idea with these guys is, the flagships, is you get in there, you soak up the damage, and your allies do the damage back. You can see he warps out of there. A little bit of a miscommunication between himself and his ally. He warps out as his ally warps back in. And he's going to have about 30 seconds before his jump drive is charged again. So we're going to try and close down some distance and take this guy out. And I can't help but give you an esports style running commentary like I do with World of Tanks here, when I really should be explaining the features of the game. Well, like I said, if you were a fan of Starfleet Command, you're probably going to enjoy this, because it's a lot more tactical, a lot more strategic than these Twitch-based fighter-style dogfighting games are. So you've got a lot more wiggle room, you've got a lot more time. You're never really going to be one-shot or obliterated within seconds. You've got plenty of time to formulate a plan and then execute said plan. So, I'm going to put links in the description. You can go and check out the Steam store page for this game. If you want to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and get in there and meet the development team, then the Mighty Jingles has already made a video where he actually went along to the studio and saw the guys live in action doing a playtest and working on the game. So if you want to see that as well and meet the developers, then I'll put a link to that in the description. You can see our base is actually being captured here, and we should really do something about that when we get the chance. Now, you do have a homing drive which will send you directly back to your base, but that has a very, very long cooldown. So I decide just to jump over to the right hand side, because the one thing about the base here is the base does attack back. So if your opponents are attacking your base and you're not there to defend it, they will still get whittled down by defensive platforms. So it's not an easy feat whatsoever taking on an enemy base. Now, I think I may be outclassed by this guy, so I just decided to make a run for it rather than actually trying to take him on, and just use my blink drive on cooldown to get the hell out of there. Thinking about having a jump, but I don't think I do in the end. So I think I've probably shown you enough of the gameplay. Like I said, this footage was from very, very early alpha, before the game's released, before the textures are finished, before the lighting is finished. So the game is going to look a hell of a lot prettier when it finally gets released. So don't take this as the final product at all. Definitely not. And I said, if you like the look of it, check out the store page, check out the Mighty Jingles video where he meets the development team, and if you like the look of it, check it out on early access. So this has been Fractured Space. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more from this game, I'll definitely jump in again from the 20th of November and bring you an overview of the different ships, the different classes, and the different manufacturers, how each of them play, and so on and so forth, because I've been having a ton of fun with this game. So, this has been Fractured Space, very early alpha. I have been Maxwell, and I'll catch you guys next time.